What's up, guys? All right, let me get that going. Cool. How's everyone doing tonight? Give me 1 second. Yo, get him the thingy.
We're getting in there. We're getting in there. Sorry, we were just.
All right.
Sorry, we were discussing the defunding of Homeland Security, and I was wondering if it's going to make traveling easier.
Probably.
Will make traveling easier, but the probability that your plane will crash will also go up a little bit.
Dude, planes have been crashing all the fucking time lately.
It's a little much, yeah. Like I've been going back and forth recently about like, is this just like media bias, just highlighting it, or like this seems like this is a real thing.
Did you see the stream card that Lit Spaceman made the other day?
No.
Oh my god. I gotta show you this. Hold on. I'll just post it in the chat.
Moped safer than cars in what way? That's the challenge, right? Oh my god. Because airplanes always catastrophic. There are lots of evidence of cars that are much less than catastrophic. So I think there's probably a little nuance there that might need to be teased out.
Well, like if you're so the thing is the statistic makes the most sense if you just imagine that any car crash you're going to be in, you're going to die, and all of a sudden flying sounds way safer.
Yeah, but this is a statistical faux pas here.
Yeah, how many car accidents are non-fatal?
How many of them are fatal though? I mean, I guess it is. I guess it comes down to fatalities per miles driven or flown, like miles traveled, right? Would be the best way to do it.
99.5% of car accidents are non-fatal.
Okay, well, we can actually reverse extrapolate that and say
I can attest.
Yeah.
I have some anecdata. I was in the McDonald's drive-through on, I think it was Tuesday, and the truck in front of me, for some reason, decided to back into my stationary car and cracked my front bumper in half. So add that shit to the list of things I gotta deal with.
I got
Did
hit.
he
I
get
got
out of his
hit
car
on
and yell
the
at you?
fucking Brooklyn Bridge like 4 weeks ago. I haven't even filed the claim yet.
I filed the claim already. He already admitted fault like a fucking moron.
Didn't he rear end you?
What else is he gonna do?
Yeah, it was his fault. But
It's like automatic at
one-
fault accident.
That's one thing that makes my life easier because I didn't know what to do.
Oh, wait. You know you can claim the depreciation from your vehicle being in an accident?
Yeah, I think that varies by state, but yeah, I'll look into it. Whatever.
Yeah, see if they have that in Texas. They have that in New York. It's dope. If somebody hits you, you get like you can claim like another like, well, I don't know. You have like a 1998 Toyota Sienna, but like if you have a nice car, you can claim like 10% of its value. 1998.
I'm sorry, excuse me?
That's what I assume the year of your Toyota Sienna is.
I have a 27-year-old car? No,
that's how old everyone's Toyota Sienna is.
No, dude. Jay Fresh, I'm just imagining you rolling up to fucking campus just in this old jalopy van. Just...
Dude, it gets even better. I've been like transporting stuff from campus to a local machine shop to do some work, so I've got like millions of dollars of shit in my back trunk.
This is Jay Fresh's car in the chat, by the way, guys. It's still in mint condition because he only drives it from his house to campus. And he chose the forest green to contrast with his red hair.
Yeah, I went for the whole leprechaun.
I just assumed it was 27 years old because of how your audio sounds in your car.
I would just like to say that I don't feel safe right now because somebody that I've blocked is currently present in the audience listening to me.
Oh God.
So we're gonna have to deal with that because I don't feel safe.
Okay. I'm gonna guess it's.
I'm gonna get him on stage so he can dodge the block.
Actually, that's not true. I've actually blocked 2 people in the entirety of being in the pickle jar.
I've never blocked anyone. I just ban them if they irritate me too much.
Well, you won't mod me, so
I know.
What am I supposed to do?
Because you ban everybody.
The only other person that I blocked was, I don't even remember his name. I'm sure you all will. He was part of the 510 gang. He gave everybody hugs. What was his name? Pickle Morty, yeah. And I kept asking him, I was like, dude, stop hugging me. And he was like, no, I'm going to hug you. I was like, I don't consent to being hugged. Stop hugging me. And he wouldn't stop, so I blocked him. And that was like 2 years ago. It's just
that's hilarious.
He's just like, oh, I'm doing everybody such a good favor by like touching them against their consent. I'm like, dude, get away from me.
He was trying to spread the love. He's still around. He's in the Fubo channel.
I know.
Yeah.
He popped in like a while back, and I was like, why am I saying there's blocked messages? And I was like, it's like, I'm gonna leave that.
Oh man.
All right, do we want to talk about fucking Gammastrike or what?
Yeah, dude.
I had 900 pounds of magnetic force from a rotor slam into a stator this week, so I'm really pissed off. So give me the stupidest questions you got. I got them disconnected.
Nobody's even putting their hand up. There's like 10 people in here.
Disconnecting.
I think I forgot to tell everybody on stream that there was going to be a thing tonight.
Disconnecting 900 pounds of magnetic force from, magnets stuck together. It's fucking hard.
Do you just slide them apart?
Couldn't slide them apart because one of the components that was like sandwiched in between them had a flange, so I couldn't slide.
Fucking flanges.
It was the fucking worst.
Do you how'd you end up doing it? Just get a bunch of people to hold either side, or did you like use
No. That's how you turn fingers into liquid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like very clear with people who were like very interested in putting their hands near it to try to help. I was like, do you like your fingers being a solid? Or would you like them to become a liquid? No, we used leverage like any good engineers would.
Then you didn't break the edges of the magnet at all?
Well, the nice thing was we had enough of a lip on the thing that got stuck in between it.
Yeah.
That we could screw some screws into it and push on it with a bunch of screws. And so we just sat there and turned screws for like an hour and a half. Moving them like
Christ. That sounds awful. I'm gonna bring someone on stage so I don't have to hear any more of that story.
Well, I have to do it all again in like a week. It's gonna be fucking great. Can't wait. Also, the thing that it was like a 3-day process, and the thing that I thought might fail ended up being the thing that failed, which I should have listened to myself.
What can you do?
Rip the magnets off and try again.
Yep. What's up, Moped?
Hey, what's up, guys? Just came up here to give a hug.
You know what?
I got
a hug this week. Come here, big boy.
Yeah, all right, there we go. I got some questions. I got a question too.
Wait. Do you consent to this hug?
Uh, no, but I might later. It would be a retroactive consent.
What's up, Moped?
Oh, you're gonna play hard to get. You want me to answer all your questions first and earn your hug. I see how it is.
Yeah, something like that.
All right.
Jeffrey,
Alright,
stop
so,
trying to sexually assault our customers.
I asked for consent. He said no. I backed off.
All right.
I said maybe later.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now consent has been made murky.
I mean, maybe later to me means no right now. That's all.
Yeah, that's exactly what it means.
Yeah. That's all I'm hearing is no.
It depends.
Maybe
Wait,
later's
have
when
you
you
ever
tell
been
somebody
elected
you're
president
afraid
of anything?
No, I'm not even president of my HOA.
That's true. What are you, like the
loser.
treasurer or something? I thought you
I'm the
were in
secretary.
charge.
No, I'm in charge in terms of like I'm the only one that can like do the math and the reasoning to actually manage it, but I also don't have time and don't
care.
I keep it together.
What about
But I'm the secretary. I'm a
what-
fucking loser. I'm just the secretary. I'm doing everything. I'm not even the president.
That sounds terrible.
I need to grab my HOA by the pussy.
All right. What's up,
all
Moped?
right, hey, what's up, guys? So I do have an actual question, and I'll preface by just saying this: I did read the entire documentation.
Of course you did.
So I made it my project this past weekend. So my question is about the like the intraday flip points. Is there like any good way to measure the momentum at the flip points? Because I know you say don't treat it as an entry, but you know, it can be a support, it can be a resistance. If there's the momentum, you can break through it. Like, is it just watching ES futures? Is it like the candles seem more consistent in their movement? Are you looking for like higher lows on an uptrend or like lower highs on a downtrend? Like, is there a good way to kind of judge momentum on those intraday flip points?
No. They become less relevant as the day progresses.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's best to treat them like what they are, which is this is the kind of the area around which a lot of the intraday short vol is positioning around. So on days when short vol is in charge and is dictating things, it's going to hit, you know, those points are going to be very important. On days that short vol gets blown out, those points are going to be much less important. So what you're asking is, can you predict using this data whether or not short vol is going to get blown out? Not really. I mean, you could use it as a way to say like, well, we had this big move, much bigger than we've generally had very early on in the day. Probably going to reverse course once everything settles out and short vol starts to get more control. So you might play like a reversal there, but trying to find the bottom. I mean, you could wait until you're somewhat below those points and then say maybe I'll try to sell some vol on the downside and let it bleed upwards. But yeah, I mean, today it was pretty clear that it got blown out and then tried to like regain control and just kind of went wild.
So there's a couple things about it that you need to remember. One, the expansion of gamma into the end of the day, and then the loss of delta into the end of the day, both affect mechanically how much of a support and resistance those lines are. They kind of end up in the center of everyone's positioning. Like you have your call sellers up top, you have your put sellers down below, and generally you have the MM's kind of neutral in the middle of all of that. And it varies, it moves back and forth, and yeah, some days you get a lot of movement on it. Today we saw that. Some days you don't get any. You know, price action's fairly stagnant, and they have an effect, but that effect is lessened as you approach the expiration. and like that end of day volatility picks up, and the range in which price can move is exacerbated by the amount of gamma gained and lost, and speed goes way up. um and so a lot of what in the early part of the day makes them act as very strong support resistances, and the latter part of the day kind of falls apart, and they don't become they're not as strong anymore. um Unless they are also, at, like Jay Fresh said, at large positioning, like at large short vol positioning, which they kind of ended up at today with like the 6100s. Those got sold pretty heavily. You see kind of end of day, they kind of curved back up and landed around the 6100 area. There was a lot of volume there, but the volume was kind of two-sided, and so like there wasn't really a ton of gamma right there. It was also pretty far from spot, which means, especially at the end of the day, means there's just like no gamma left. Um, but that's something to consider. I mean, as far as like momentum goes, I mean, think of momentum as price moving, a dollar at a time, and how quickly it moves across those dollars will determine how much additional like hedging is being done. Right, when we look at notional gamma values, that's like per dollar change in price, and the underlying is being added to the hedge as the price moves up. And so, if you get a price movement where $5 of additional upside goes in the money, then that notional hedge is going to move up really fast. Say that happens in one candle or two candles. um and as that dynamic hedging continues, you start to, some very frequently on moves like that, you'll start to get more larger moves and continuation of that move. And that's kind of how momentum mounts relative to the options chain.
Okay,
But
yeah,
like when
I
you have
saw.
like really slow price action, you don't get a lot of momentum. So, if you're going up like 30 cents and then pull back 20 and then up 50 and then pull back 30, you're not picking up a lot of momentum, because the change in the hedge isn't happening very fast. And so it's more at the extremes where price change happens really quickly that you see the dynamic hedge shift really fast. And then also, that means that things are going to be mispriced briefly while everyone kind of scrambles to get ahead of the rising price in the market. And sometimes that matches with ES volume. It doesn't always. Sometimes it could match with volume and one of the, larger weighted components. Like, sometimes Nvidia will run and SPX has like a $5 candle, and you're like, what the fuck happened? And it's like, well, Nvidia just picked up 250 billion in market cap.
So it may be oversimplifying, but like in today's like early day price action, like basically like the gamma neutral and the gamma flip point were basically like perfect in terms of like support and resistances, and then over like later on in the day, it really didn't. Is that kind of what you were saying earlier, where those flip points, where the flip point matters less as the day
Yeah.
goes on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it still matters. The MM would ideally prefer to close at that price, but they don't always get their way, and they're going to hedge with whatever way the participants take the market.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that was something I didn't fully realize. So yeah, thanks for explaining that.
Yeah.
And one other thing, it's not, I don't think it's quite a question yet, but what I try to do is like, every evening, like after the next update comes out, I try to look at, all the SPX data, basically the stuff that you write up in Pickles Picks, and I
Hmm.
um, try to make some sense of it.
Yeah.
Try to predict like what you're gonna write up about it, and I can't. And I guess I'm curious, how much of like that interpretation that you put in is just from experience, and how much of it is you should be able to draw directly from the tool and from the data in Gammastrike.
I couldn't honestly tell you. I've had the data for like almost 3 years.
Right.
I don't know which of the two, but I've watched it, every day and every night for 3 years. So it's hard for me to extrapolate how much of that is my experience with it versus how much of it is, their, you know, that's there in the data, and how much is my experience with like how the data reacts to market conditions. It's definitely both. Um, but I mean, a lot of it should be able to be drawn directly from the data. There are things like interpreting neutrals and what neutrals are doing and how that affects the broader market that gets more esoteric in its interpretation. But I think that's something you'll pick up over time, is, especially if you're watching neutrals on like one asset just all the time. You really start to get a feel. And then also don't forget that I'm like cross-referencing this data with other data I look at also, right? I'm looking at Dixie, I'm looking at futures, I'm looking at the carry trade, I'm looking at like the forward yield of volatility, I'm looking at VIX VX correlations. I'm looking at skew, I'm looking at breadth, and I'm factoring all of that in to what I'm looking at on Gammastrike as well.
I think it's maybe something worth stating explicitly. There's nothing. So let me say this the right way. There's nothing unique about this particular set of data being intraday that changes the value of any single data set, right? I mean, what you are trying to do is understand overall positioning in the market to gain small edges over other people who are caught off sides. And so this is one piece of information that can help you do that, and among many different pieces of information. And we're always trying to add more pieces of information so that people can put those strategies together for themselves. But yeah, just in isolation, you can't just look at it and say like, "Hey, what's the trading strategy here for, crosses of delta flip?" It's like if the market was simple enough that you could reduce it down to one number, um, it would have already been arbitraged away anyway, right? So you have to look at, basically the intent is, I feel like success for us is if we are able to, by providing this data, provide a few percentage points of edge for people who use our service. That's a success, because those few percentage points are that
The,
adds up
they're
to
the
a lot
different
of
they're the
money,
difference between being profitable and not,
right?
many times.
Like even the most successful traders I've heard are something like less than 60% successful on their decision making, right? So you need to be somewhere between 50 and 60% to be profitable, right? Um, 60% being the absolute best that anybody with all the information in the world could ever do.
I'm like
We're
80,
talking like
but
we're
yeah,
talking like
whatever.
Kenny over long periods of time with large portfolios. It's like 60.
Yeah, large portfolios, it's very hard to maintain a profitable edge. That's why I
Yeah.
limit the size of my trading portfolios, and I don't really. A lot of them never get scaled up. They just stay where they're at because it becomes insanely difficult to manage larger amounts of leverage without realizing extreme drawdowns. Um, and so you're very limited. You can definitely hit success rates that are higher than 60% as an individual trader, but you will have problems with scale. Like you will cap out eventually. There's only so much you can make, and you've got to rely on compounding interest at some point to start making up the difference.
Yeah, I the way I think about our website is like every piece of information that we provide um, provides an opportunity for somebody to build, some fraction of a percent of edge. So you add up all the pieces of information, you have a few percent, which ends up becoming uh, quite meaningful over time, right? But yeah, if you're looking for a silver bullet, we're never going to be able to offer you a silver bullet. And if we find something that looks like a silver bullet, Gherkin's going to convince me to never let you guys have it.
We can have it 2 years later.
It's not even gonna take a lot of convincing.
That's something else we thought of too. Like, once we really hard launch this, thinking about like how much does growth like affect the value of the information. Like that's the thing. It's like the more you raise the floor for everyone and provide more access or easier access to more data, then the more informed everybody becomes, and that just so the innovation has to be continual, and that's part of the plan that we've put in place for ourselves. We want to make sure that we are always able to continuously raise the bar, so that the people who use our service will always be a little bit ahead of everybody else. Because if we're not offering you edge, what are we offering, right?
See,
So
I actually kind of disagree with your philosophy there. I don't really think personally anything that we have offers edge. I think it offers analytical tools on which you can build a strategy that has an edge. A lot of what we do is we provide information that is available to others, but has not been previously available to retail.
yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
and while it might be a stepping stone for retail, really it just gives you more information about the trade you're going to take, more than it gives you like this is a buy, this is a sell. Like, I mean, we really avoid doing that at all costs because that information really isn't valuable and is frequently wrong. And if you rely on a signal, you're probably gonna lose money over time. The signal will wear and more people will use it and it will become less reliable. Market conditions will shift. I mean, the way we've built this data is that it just tells you what's going on, and then that helps you make better decisions about
Yeah,
what you're going to do relative to what everyone else is doing. And that's an insight that, you know, prior to this, really only market makers have, and their interest is in hedging what other people are doing versus taking advantage of what other people are doing. It's also in a market that is less liquid and less corrupt than, you know, if you were trying to like trade stocks and you've got to deal with your broker pricing and then you're dealing with HFT on the MBBO, and you've got a lot more layers before you actually, you know, get an asset in your hands. And then the same thing when you're going to sell it. Um, and options don't really have all of that going on. I mean, it's really hard to even do HFT on options because there's only a few people making the market. And so, you know, options inherently have an advantage in that regard. But yeah, I think the data that we're giving people it just informs you in something, you know, that where there was no information really available before.
yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I think the takeaway is that, you know, the goal is that, the community that develops around this software is able to take this information and build their strategies from it. And we're interested to see what all people find. Number one, so that we can outcompete you on your own strategy. Um, but number two, it's just interesting to see, what insights people come up with, and thinking about, like, if somebody does find a successful trade, it's always interesting to figure out, like, what are the underlying positional choices that other players are making that creates this opportunity for you. It's really much a game of war more than anything else.
Jesus Christ. Your voice is, you're just going up.
Okay,
Is
hold
that
on.
just like the audio signal degrading? Where's Dork? Dork, are you coding?
No,
This is-
look, I've just been sitting here because I have noticed this a couple times.
Oh my god, your fucking connection's terrible too.
Everybody's sad.
Is mine? Can you hear me fine or no?
What?
That's all fucked. Fantastic.
Nice.
Mine's working? Fucking better be.
Hello? Anybody me? Hello?
Anyway,
Prestige
Moped.
one.
Well, everything's really weird right now.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
I can hear
wait.
you fine, so, you know.
Oh wait,
that's-
we're
Yeah.
back. We're back.
All you
We're
guys seem
back.
really, really garbled.
I seem
Okay,
garbled
so,
too?
Oh, now it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's something with Discord.
Fucking
We're
piece of
Discord.
shit, man. Discord kind of sucks sometimes.
It does. Well, we got another hand.
Oh,
that was
sure.
that was a great way, a great synopsis of kind of our philosophy towards this. And I want to kind of just bring it back to that. You know, Gherk's absolutely right. JFresh is absolutely right. We're really just interested in making sure that, you know, we give you data and not an opinion.
Yeah, which
I
is
mean, we
hard to
give you an
do.
opinion, but it's not the data.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know? Our opinion is separate from the data.
Sometimes I think the data is lying to me, or I'm like smarter than it, and then I get fucked.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because yeah, it's like you're looking. Well, like the thing is, the data is showing you, right? Like, oh man, you know, this is prime for a 2 standard deviation move, but at the same time, you're like, the market is going to defend that move just intrinsically.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get a crypto up here. He had his hand raised for a bit when we hit the testicle difficulties.
Yep.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you,
Thanks for the
Moped.
questions, Moped.
Yeah, appreciate the answers, guys. I'll take a hug.
All right, we'll give you one.
But not from J Fresh.
Done. Oh.
Just go give him hugs in chat, JFresh. There you go.
Oh, whoopsies. What's up, crypto? How you doing?
Moped's getting the shit hugged out of him right now.
Oh, good.
Simp
Crypto's
dork.
off.
I love it when dork chooses to agree with everyone. Crypto is just having some microphone difficulties. We'll get there.
All right. There we go. It's okay. I found a little tiny buggy poo in my code and I fixed it.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
So you were
It wasn't
coding.
anything
You
major.
lying son of a bitch.
No, I'm mostly watching, okay? And then every once in a while I see something, and this just happened to be a thing that mattered, and I was like, okay, I'll fix this. It took like 1 minute, okay? And other than that, I'm just watching text go down the screen.
Mm.
All right, can you guys hear me?
I can. What's up, Crypto?
up?
Finally. All right. What's going on, guys?
Hanging in there.
Not much, just hanging out.
Nice, kind of seems like that. So, first of all, you guys are welcome. For all of us to give you all of our money before we figure out what you're actually doing, but I'm here for it. I love it. And I know everyone else is getting pretty technical, but for me, I'm just looking for like a dashboard where I can keep track of a couple tickers and maybe hit some like custom alerts.
So yeah, we're working on like favorites and watch lists and alerts. It's gonna take us some time, but
Okay.
we're building out services that'll bring that around.
Okay. Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's the data is there. It's pretty awesome. It's just it's a lot to continuously keep track of,
Yeah, it is. I agree.
especially
It's-
if you're not like doing it all the time.
Did you see that me and Nuke threw a new scanner in there this week? That might be a
Yeah,
fun
the
one.
shark fin one.
Yeah, the exposures where you can track like the gamma, like dex and gex gains and losses.
Yeah, I was using that for H and a couple other tickers out there. It was nice.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, some of them hit pretty good. You was on there.
yep.
It was
Yep, you was on
keeping
there.
for like 5 days. Yeah, yeah, it's nice stuff.
Shark,
But,
shark
just
fin.
having
Ooh,
a dashboard or that alert is pretty cool.
So you've been. I mean, I know you haven't gotten a chance to use it. You were in on the beta, but you were busy with shit for a while, and so
Yeah, I
you
think
missed
have
out. You missed out on a lot of like the development process, which might be a good thing. Did you have any? Did you have any critiques?
No, the documentation was pretty good. It was a lot of you know, it was a lot of info to go through, but also at the same time, not quite enough. Excited to see
Tell
those
me,
charts
what should
come
I
through.
add? What's missing?
Oh, I have no idea yet, but I'll tell you after a little bit more time goes on.
Well, okay. Yeah, let me know what's missing. I'll add it.
You're getting your
But,
CFA right now, or
No, the CFP.
CFP?
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, no, the documentation is cool. I'm looking forward to seeing some of those charts come through on the documentation.
Yeah,
But
I'm trying not to overwhelm. I've got a lot of stuff in my pipeline that I'm ready to
Yeah.
to
you know what? The
emit
more they-
out of my
the
pipe
more projects you'll have.
into other pipes, but those pipes need to be emptied first before I can fill them.
You got to get the shit out of those pipes.
You said shit, not me.
Yep. Well,
I'm
you're
glad
not
you,
a plumber.
glad you like it. Yeah, but favorites are definitely something we want to add. We want to add customized dashboards. We want to add alerts. I don't know if they'll be like SMS alerts, but at least notification alerts initially. And then probably some like watch
Yeah, I
list
mean, like most
tool.
of those alerts, I'm not going to need intraday. If I could just like log in and see, some alerts that came up throughout the day, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Yep.
So, but we're working on that. By the time we go to like full launch, we should have a lot of that stuff implemented.
All right. Well, hey, you guys are doing good. Keep it up, and there's going to be a ton of shit
Thanks
that you're
for
going to add to this
thanks
over time.
thanks for buying it before
Fuck
you knew
yeah.
what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, trying to figure out where you were getting this info from, and that was a pretty good selling point. But so far, like I said, I've been liking it so far, and it's been like a few days. So
Cool. That's awesome.
We welcome
Okay.
feedback. We want to make sure we make people happy. Yeah. More feedback.
yeah, and I'll let you know what I
And the
think is missing
feedback we've
from
gotten
the
seems to be
documentation.
positive, but we are fully capable of getting negative feedback. We were in Super Stonk for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Just pretty much
Forged in the fire
non-stop negative
of-
feedback.
of
Just don't
the
forget,
storm.
Crypto, if you want to give feedback as a pigeon whale, you have your own channel for that with direct dev access. You don't have to go on the Pores channel to give feedback.
Oh yeah, no, I don't live there anymore. That's
Yeah,
gross.
please don't. Please don't do that.
Gross.
Heard Ferg's trying to fight some Canadians in here.
Oh god, of course he is. All right, who do we have
It's
up
the U.S.
next?
Canada game tonight. So.
Thanks for
I
coming
told
up,
my
Crypto.
wife-
I appreciate the
I
questions,
told my
man.
wife that if we
Thank
make
you, Chris.
Canada the 51st state, we should name it the Deep State, and she didn't find that funny at all. And I felt like maybe I was going crazy.
Good evening, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
What's up, Vince?
Oh my god, you guys can actually hear me this time. That's amazing.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, you came on last time, and we spent like 5 minutes trying to hear you, right?
Yeah, how to put everything in the chat. Well,
What'd you do different?
absolutely nothing.
Perfect.
Righteous.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Well, hey, I hope you guys are having a good evening.
It's not
I had a
bad.
couple of questions for you guys.
Yeah, hit us.
The first one is that, I mean, I've only been using this for like a week or two, and I've noticed that
Congratulations.
most of the time, well, for the Gex line that you guys have up there, our price action will mostly stay on like that really steep slope. But over the last couple days, I've noticed that we've been kind of like leaving it behind and staying either above it or well below that pretty steep slope.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just wondering, like, if you guys can talk a little bit about that sort of like price action and what's going on there.
Well, it requires a lot of effort, especially in the later part of the day, which, I mean, technically they failed to do today. I know Gamma like popped up at 10, but really 20 was the resistance there. Um, so it's part of that spike you're seeing in the intraday, or like towards the end of the day, where you're getting that big spike of Gamma, and that was at like 10. Well, it actually ended up looking like this, where it was like 10, like 61.10, and then 61.20. Um, that's part of that is the expansion of that Gamma into expiration.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting larger and larger notional moves. Now what happens is like this slope that goes down into negative Gamma, and I think down here it was at like 60.90 today, I believe. I was in and out, so tell me if I'm wrong on any of this. And this was at like 61.10, and there might have been like a little hump somewhere in here, but I don't remember. But that's not relevant. Really, on this slope, Gamma falls off and is gained very rapidly. So price action is generally going to be pretty fluid once a direction is picked. And the neutrals, or well, the flip points here, which kind of are coming across that line, are going to act as a bit of a guide to tell you how the MM is going to behave on either side of that slope, right? Because on one side of that slope, their intraday Gamma exposure and delta exposure is very negative, and on the other side of that slope, it's positive, right? And if we remember, that constant rule, like positive Gamma environment, the market maker is buying the uptick; negative Gamma environment, or they're selling the uptick; negative Gamma environment, the market makers was selling the downtick. Then you remember that below that, price is going to move down faster. Well, actually, below it, price is going to move down and up faster. Above it, price will move down slower and up slower. So fast, slow. And then once that peak has kind of been crossed, it then acts as support because Gamma has to go back up on the downside move to in order for you to like fall back through the support.
Mm-hmm.
And so and that's kind of really hard to do because like the MM's buying the downtick and Gamma's going up on the downside move. And so,
Yeah.
once you kind of cross that level and hold it, then it's easier to keep leveraging up higher and higher. But it is usually very incremental. And you see that through all of the end of day price action after we move into the positive environment, like consistently, because this failed really quick. But you see how it's like very grindy to the upside.
Mm-hmm.
Once we get above like this level, and it keeps falling back and pumping, and that falls back and pumps, and they're just like each level they're gaining sometimes nothing, sometimes just an incremental gain, but it's quite hard to keep levering that up because as the Gamma becomes more and more positive, the MM is selling that uptick harder and harder. So the amount they're selling on each uptick is increasing as that notional Gamma rises. And you can get over those humps, and sometimes that'll shift relative to moneyness the high Gamma out of the money up more, and speed picks up, and you'll start to see that kind of like it'll be a peak initially, and then when you test here, like maybe a shoulder of it will start to rise, and then eventually over over like as you move higher and higher, that next peak will start to become the new peak.
So I understand that, but if you look down at the bottom right corner,
Yeah.
this is more like something I was saying like yesterday, maybe the day before. Like if you see that really tall peak at like I can't see it, 60.25. I
Yeah.
noticed for a little bit over the last couple of days, instead of us like being on that grind up there, like that peak was below us as we went like as we stayed like 1 or 2 dots ahead of it. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
So like here.
Yeah, there to like the next point is where the price action was. So like the peak was behind us, and so that was kind of surprising me.
Hmm.
I don't know if
That's
that was what I was saying.
well, that's kind of what I was talking about. In the early part of the day, that peak will stay behind spot, but in the later part of the day, the next strike will start to move up relative to spot, because gamma is very affected by moneyness, and so at the money gamma will almost even if the strike has lower interest, the at the money gamma into like the last 30 minutes of the day will tend to be higher wherever spot is, or lower wherever spot is. So if we're in negative gamma territory at the end of the day, you'll see negative gamma just plunge down, and we'll get like stuck in a rut of like negative gamma where we can't climb to the upside. And this is kind of a similar situation, but on the positive side. Like it's really like you can cross it though. It's not like it's an impossible point to cross. It's just very hard. Like you need a lot of sold put leverage right under spot in order to push it like over that hump. But once it's over that hump, it can start moving a little bit more normally again. Especially as gamma increases on the following strike as price rises. So it
I
can
think
like
that is
crossing it is both a support, and it can also be additionally a catalyst depending on time of day and how much speed is there. So the number of sold calls there, those all play a role.
okay. No, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
The next question I had was just trying to go over how you analyze like the end of day probability of of SPX either squeezing up or down. Because on Tuesday, I tried to see how likely we were, and I didn't see anything. And then we ended up just ripping. And then yesterday, I thought we were likely to push up, but then we were just dead in the water. So I'm doing something very wrong. And I was just curious to see how you go about analyzing it.
So Tuesday was interesting. Actually, Tuesday made less sense, arguably, than it had Wednesday squeezed up into close. But a lot of that end of day stuff isn't extremely predictable. You'd think like, oh, they have a big out of the money short put position or something like that. They're gonna try to save that, right? Like, and that doesn't always happen. Like sometimes those puts are just dead. They're hedged off. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they really push for like the rescue mission, like what we saw on Tuesday with the 2025 calls. But yeah, I mean it really varies. A lot of it has to do with the next day and how the market makers preparing to hedge the next day. Where's the market makers hedge at the next day, right? Like they can kind of give ground there in the end of the day. Also, gamma hedging is really difficult at the end of the day. So sometimes all it takes is just like breaking through that resistive strike, and then everything falls apart, because remember, due to charm, those like out of the money calls in the last like 15 minutes are approaching zero delta. But if they go in the money, they go from 0 to 100 instantly. And so, Tuesday, and I can't really show it on here, but maybe I can like bring up Trading View and I can kind of show how that went. So like Tuesday end of day, if I go down to like the 1 minute, we had that fucking this just an absolutely insane run up over the last like 6 minutes of the day, where we went up, from 113 to almost 130. That was really all just the 20 strike going in the money. Like, there were so many sold calls at the 20 strike that the second that delta had to be hedged, like, so much delta had to be hedged that it pushed the 25 strike in the money, which, then pushed it all the way up to 30. So you just kind of get like a continuation on those. And probably the appropriate way to play that is to wait for the move and then just try to trail it. The problem you run into there is that very frequently, when you have all of those, worthless positions out of the money, the second one of them goes in the money, they sell off, or buy to close, or or sell, and that kills the price action, and it just falls back to spot and the day's over. But occasionally there's enough interest at those strikes that it'll just keep self-perpetuating, and it kind of like one strike catalyzes the next.
Because what I was doing, I was trying to take a look at the delta for the day as well as the charm for the day, and it seemed mostly balanced. But you want to also take into consideration like what's going on the following day as well.
Yeah,
And then it's just that.
well, like today, the end of day was really predictable. I think everyone kind of picked up on it. But charm into the end of the day today was really lopsided. There was a lot more, positive charm below spot than negative charm above it. And once we were above 6,100, those flows were pretty positive. You also have flows from the AM expiry, which is really notionally large. And so I think like once we got back above like 6,100 towards the end of today, it was pretty much a given that we were going to go up to like 6,110 or 15, just because everything was just flowing that like to the upside at that point.
Okay.
But we did like test the 20, and then it just got slammed, right? And that's what I'm kind of talking about, is like that, like we spiked above the 20, delta started to get hedged, then everyone just sold off.
And on the actual platform, like a good way to see like how much delta needs to be hedged for a situation like this is on the second live page, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where you'd be looking over here to try to make those determinations.
And for both charm and delta on that, it's best to use like the net flow, correct?
I mean, charm you don't have to use net. Actually, I'd probably rather use gross on charm. That's why we have it defaulted to that. But on delta, I would probably use net.
Okay. And then I guess the last question that I had was I guess mainly for you, Gherk, maybe like JFresh could speak to it, but I was wondering what was going on with the because I haven't seen this before, but the 5 minute to expiry 6,100 to 6,090. I noticed that the bull put spreads were going for like 15% credit, which I thought was absolutely insane.
Hmm.
Yeah, I haven't had time to watch like intraday pricing, but the bull put spread was going for what now?
15% of the credit, like 6,100, 6,090.
5 minutes to expiration?
Yeah, I was kind of eating them up.
Yeah.
Could have been a lot of
And
people closing them.
What were the strikes?
6,100 and 69 or 6,090.
Wait, so you were up at like 61.15 and you were selling those for 15%?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
And
that's pretty sick. You got an eye.
I haven't seen that before, and I would assume like we were going up.
So we're going
So
for
I'd be ready to sell.
150 credit. on the
Yeah.
thousand. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be that the MM needed that protection just for a little bit.
Mm.
It's a really interesting game because you know, a while back I did a pretty deep dive into the time and sales. And I think what's happening, I think the general dynamic is, and I put some of this in the documentation as an example of, you know, the specific day that this happened when VIX spiked to like 60 or whatever. But people tend to be long options on longer time frames, and then short options on the intraday. And so from the market maker's perspective, they can hedge their net short position on options, right? So their short ball with the intraday short positions, right? That gives them their long ball exposure during the day. But if that intraday breaks down, then they're unhedged, right, to all of this vol. And I think that's what happened when VIX spiked to 60. It was just a failure of the market. The market makers were literally unwilling to sell any more options to anybody. Right? They'd buy them. They'd buy them for any price, but they wouldn't sell them for any price. So it's just like a failure of the bid ask. But essentially, usually when you find those types of pricing things, you're catching somebody offsides. So I don't know why they were offsides, but they had to have been offsides in some capacity.
The
Okay.
6100 was worth a lot all day. It was kind of mispriced a few times that I looked at it. But I didn't look at the spread. I didn't see what the 90 was opening for. That's kind of crazy. But
Yeah, it was,
nice. I hope you sold the shit out of them.
the opportunity when I will say I'm not very proud of it, but I did end up buying them until my margin account started throwing warnings.
I mean, I've done that before, like intraday tests of like back last year when we were like intraday testing the monthly GM, which we haven't come anywhere near in a long time. But yeah, back in 2024 when the fucking market was just flying into the sky, there was like one intraday test of Gamma Max where I sold like, I don't know, 2,000 zero DTE spreads just above Gamma Max.
That was amazing. I figured I was wondering if there was like some weird hedging thing going on because I've never seen that before. But that was amazing.
It could have been they were like trying to close out positioning there. And they needed to close out like the zero DTE options.
It's called a fire sale.
Yeah. So it
Yeah,
might
but
have
why
been
they
like a
needed
lot
to
of
close them
buying
out
to close in the spread.
Right, but why they needed to buy them so far out of the money right before they were expired is a mystery, right?
Yeah.
And maybe we'll never know, but you were able to catch it. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super cool.
Right. Well, hey, thank you guys so much for answering all my questions. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming up and asking them, man.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out.
Poopy Pants wants to know any thoughts on RRG type graphs and utilizing the Greeks or Spider ETFs? Or do those not have enough OI on those names where it'd be worth it? We'll probably look at some sector rotation stuff later down the road. We've got some data now that we've done a soft launch and stuff, and we have a little bit of money coming in. We're going to be picking up some more data packages that it's going to help a lot with like sector analysis and stuff like that. And we'll probably have our own take on it. I'm not sure it's going to be just relative rotation, but we will be doing stuff with that in the future. We're also going to have like live data on. We intend to have live data on like SPY, QQQ, IWM. Anybody gonna raise their hand? Get in here, Poopy. You can dodge the ban by joining the stage. What are you thinking? Like, you're missing out on this fucking opportunity to make JFresh feel even more unsafe.
JFresh might just actually leave. Well, you don't talk to your wife the same way you talk to us? I'm offended.
How am I not being fun? Turd. Are you gonna get up here? Or are you, like, inundated with children? Go in the bathroom. Tell her you're talking to your mistress. She's pregnant. She won't leave you now.
LOL. He doesn't know he's a fascist.
Oh my god. Yeah, what the hell, guys? I mean, how are you guys liking the site and stuff? For those of you subscribed.
Yeah, we got
For those of you not subscribed,
bunch
how are
of-
you enjoying the data? Or
bunch
the
of
docs?
bunch of new people signed up. What I don't
Yeah,
like
we
is the
also-
only thing I'm hearing is like good stuff.
Yeah, everybody's too afraid to criticize. I think we can't handle it. But that's what
Yeah.
makes the product better, is making us feel shitty for
Ooh,
doing
Ben
something
hates
shitty.
it. Get up here, Ben.
Where?
We'll talk
Ben,
about
get up here, tell
we'll
us.
talk about your marriage and everything. It'll be
Tell us what
awesome.
you hate.
Yeah.
Do it. Do it.
Do
Other
it.
people might.
Don't be a
might
bitch,
agree,
Ben.
And then you know, like, you could build the resistance.
Fucking Guile by Revlon and After Hours.
Oh, hold on. Someone who you blocked has joined voice. If you leave, they will still be blocked. You can both hear each other. Oh shit.
What?
What should I do? Should I say yes, I'll leave, or I'll stay here?
Just say you'll stay.
I'll stay.
Oh shit! Your block stopped his request to speak.
Oh wait, we can't both speak together?
What's up, guys?
What's
Lord
up?
Cream Pie is here.
My
What's up, Poopy?
My predator is here.
JFresh, that might be the most complimentary thing you've ever said to me.
You sound like somebody who thinks that high fructose corn syrup is different from sucrose.
The what? I can hear you.
What?
The fuck?
Don't bring your shit up here on my stage. Ask your question, Poopy.
No, I haven't unblocked him yet, just for the theatrics. I don't give a shit.
I was just curious with Gamma, like end of day, would calculating color or something like that, like another third derivative of it, would that provide any like predictive value if
No.
you saw that on different contracts?
No, and we have.
Oh shit, my golden retriever is trying to get into shit. Stop
Just like the instances in which color comes up, it's irrelevant. Like, you just look
So-
at speed.
I mean,
Okay.
color be important. Like, I don't know about color in particular, but like a lot of those third derivatives become useful during like things like economic data, I guess, where there's
Well,
just
that's
huge moves expected.
So look up.
That's what I was
look up
more wondering if it was like on days like OPEX or things like that, where it's like a large notional amount of expiry, if there was value in it specifically for that time.
Your portfolio is not big enough for its preferred color to matter, I don't think. I don't think
Okay.
anybody's
Yeah,
is.
cool.
Yeah, so okay, so go. I know this is probably gonna fall on deaf ears, but maybe one person will like get it. Go look up the Taylor expansion. You can just go on like Wikipedia. Basically, what the Taylor expansion does is it takes like a function, an arbitrary function, and it approximates it at a certain point, and it approximates it with increasingly higher order terms. So when you say things like third order Greek, you're talking about like the third order term in a Taylor expansion. So the first order term is going to be like 90 something % of it. The second order term is going to be like 8. that would be gamma. Like the first term would be delta, the second one would
Oh,
be
it just becomes
gamma,
irrelevant, is what
and
you're
then the
saying.
third one would be speed. And at that point, you're talking about maybe a percent of the effects that you see on the market. And so that's why nobody calculates like a sixth order term, Greek, right? Because it would be so infinitesimally small that like nobody's even factoring that into any
They
of their
do. They
decisions.
have like higher weighting with like exotic options and swaps and shit. But it's just like it's not relevant to retail traders.
Probably.
I mean, you have
Well, yeah,
charm.
I'm
Why do you
sure.
care about color, right?
Well, yeah.
Well,
Well,
so
is colors
I
a
mean-
third order as well, isn't it? It's just in relation to time for gamma. I was more
Yeah.
thinking like
Yeah.
specifically like 10
color
minutes
is
at the end of the day, like a very, very minute amount of time where it would provide any value, if any at all.
Color
Okay.
has some effect in like supporting higher prices as like the day ends. And like we were talking
it
about
might
like
show up in like the
we were talking about like the
Yeah.
peak earlier and like crossing like where delta peaks near a spot or gamma peaks near a spot. And like when you're above that peak, as time elapses, that peak moves higher and becomes more supportive. And it becomes harder and harder for price to fall back. And it like color does have like a minute effect there. But it's not important enough. Like
Where it would be indicative.
it didn't like make the cut.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
it's something that-
speed is vastly more important when you're like trading at like 2 strikes like that.
And I would
Yeah.
assume you're going to see speed hitting triggers or whatever that you're looking at, that color's going to naturally follow. And it's not,
Yeah.
I think it's important. Like, I talked about this a bit with someone else a while ago, but like the first order derivatives, like Gherk was saying, your position's not big enough. Because like if you imagine like a position, okay, just you have a position on an options chain, and that position is perfectly delta hedged, right? Then the vast majority of impact to your position is going to be those second order derivatives, right, off of delta. So like your gamma would all of a sudden become much more important. But then let's just say you're perfectly gamma hedged too. I know it's impossible, but if you're perfectly gamma hedged too, then your largest impactor would probably be something like speed or the other second order derivatives that are not gamma. So
I feel like
I
you've
mean-
also got Vana working in there, so yeah. It's just
it's not even to consider your Vega exposure, right? So
yeah, and then don't forget
Well,
that you're looking at the third order derivative of a derivative of delta.
yeah.
Right, so it's like you're really already way the fuck out there, and like you have charm. Like we give you guys charm. It's right there. Like the effect of charm is vastly greater than the effect of color.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
orders
that's
of
why
magnitude.
I was thinking it was
Man,
more
if
of
people
like
want it, we'll give it to you.
Yeah, we can do
If
it.
you really want
if
it.
there's no value in it, you don't need to slow my computer
Also,
down.
Dork made that chart. It looks weird.
it just honestly, like, the thing is like charm and color are pretty much like the same chart.
It just
That's
blew
what it
up
sounds like,
at
yeah.
close every day.
It would get super weird, but like it would just literally look almost
Well,
for
yeah,
like almost the whole
asymptotes
day
are,
would look the exact
undefined
same.
at the end of the day.
Yeah,
It does, yeah.
that's where probably where color matters the most is that gamma expands. So it's like the opposite. Like delta goes to 0, gamma expands infinitely into close. That's why it's so hard to hedge it at the end of the day. And so like that's where color is affecting like someone with a portfolio, of several hundred millions of dollars. It's affecting them a lot. You don't give a shit.
No, I'm trying to figure out something to be indicative to, 10x some options real quick at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, you could straddle.
Uh,
Well, if you straddle and 1 would 10x, then 2 you'd still get 5x.
sounds like you lost money there, Gherk. I don't know.
Sounds like profit. Like low
Um,
decision-making profitability. Or you just straddle the close every day and guarantee that we always close flat.
Yeah.
I think we've all been there before.
Nope.
The only other thing I was going to ask, have you guys thought about saving, or I guess having like historical data for options in terms of like the intraday stuff? And I guess I know that's probably going to be something that's like pretty cost prohibitive. So if not, I think it makes sense not to have it. But just in terms of like intraday stuff of like seeing certain moves with certain other variables that happen repeatedly, to create something that's like somewhat not predictive, but you see certain setups and you enter them based off of
Yeah, but like,
historically it
why would
happening
we want to
a
give
certain
you
amount of times
that?
in the past. I guess I was just curious if that's something.
Yeah, all I'll say now is data gathering and acquiring is a very big part of our roadmap, and that's on the roadmap further down the line. But yeah, it's a lot of fucking data.
Yeah. Well, as far as like yeah, in terms of like processing and saving and doing all that, I was like, that's a big ass operation at that point.
Yeah, I mean, we have the infrastructure in place to ingest it. It's really just a matter of what are we going to do with it, because it's so much data. I mean, it would be like 10x more data than all we've collected so far. So, and we already have other areas where we want to expand the data. So, we our data is going to grow exponentially from here, and we just have to kind of plan for which data to collect when.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well,
we're
Jay
gonna
Fresh, you have any
download the
questions
stock
for me?
market.
I don't have anything else.
Why do you think disaccharides and
I
monosaccharides are
didn't do my homework.
digested
I wasn't prepared
differently?
for this. When, baby?
About like 8 months from now.
Nice.
Like you guys knew before, like my mother-in-law knows.
It's because we're
Oh.
family.
Nice.
So
You know, my first child was conceived with my mother-in-law in the other room. She didn't even know.
Poopy, I just wanted to thank you
that's a high skill level right
for
there, Jay
being
Fresh.
the like crazy like
Yeah.
conservative
She
cousin
thinks
that I
our
don't
first
have.
was conceived in Paris, but little did she know we were
Nope.
just right down the hall from her.
Poopy,
What's up?
I wanted to thank you for being the crazy conservative cousin that I don't have.
I'll take it. I will tell you, Gherk, the most insulting thing you've ever told me is that I watched Fox News.
Pretty sure one of my girlfriends broke up with me because I watched Fox News once in front of them. I didn't even realize that was like a bad thing. Yeah.
I mean, it just, you said that, Gherk, it really did hurt,
It's changed a lot though. It's pretty fucking crazy now.
Dude, it's wild at this point. It really is.
Yeah.
I just assumed that's where you got your information, but now I know it's Alex Jones, so thanks for letting me know.
God damn. That's me, Fear. He's Alex Jones. Wouldn't that be a twist?
Yeah.
Man?
My wife just was walking through and said, "Now you're the opposite and annoying." And it's like, yeah, we basically fight over who's more libtarded. We call each other libtard for fun.
When you guys get in the sex chair, do you just say, "I'm owning you right now"?
No, that's not cool.
All right.
You tell her you're seizing the means of production.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna hop off. Let somebody else come up here. But it's always fun. Appreciate you guys taking some time and
J Fresh's goods are never soft. No problem.
But thanks, guys.
We don't need to go there, but yeah, I haven't had problems there yet. We'll see. I'm getting old. Shit's starting to break on my body. Feel the penis is, coming up soon. Something's gonna go wrong.
With the penis?
Mm-hmm.
But they just they'll just give you like pills.
Yeah, but like, what's gonna break first? Like my heart, my knees, my back, or my penis?
Yeah,
I thought all three of those other things were already fucked up.
Which ones?
Like your heart, your knees, and your back.
No, those are fine. Are they not fine? Do you know something
Oh,
I
no,
don't?
only his back. Only his back is fucked up.
My knees are starting to pop a little bit because I'm a fat piece of shit and need to lose weight.
My
but
knees-
are okay.
My knees sound like Rice Krispies. Is that normal?
Mine do when I walk down the stairs.
Oh, okay.
But no, in general, that should not happen. That's not good. You're wearing away the cartilage because you're a fat piece of shit like me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Turns out, sitting at a desk all day making money, not great exercise.
Yeah, it's not. I do walk. I actually walk a lot because, yeah, I have to walk a lot. I'm actually on my feet a lot too.
You should just ride your bike to work.
J-Fresh's neck, his back, his pussy, and his crack. That I...
Oh, no, I'm fat as fuck. I used to be skinny, but I got fat when I started making Gammastrike and trying to get tenure. Tenure broke me. I just
Yeah, wait till you
started
guys see our
realizing-
testimonials.
Yeah, right. If I've never been less healthy, please, my girlfriend doesn't even
mean,
recognize me anymore. Someone let me
releasing-
out.
Releasing the beta for Gammastrike almost killed like half of us.
Well, we built like a fully functional web program in like 2 months.
Only outs of money. I might be
You know what?
starting into another nice
Nuke
little
built
manic
it, but like
episode.
we had to deal with the stress.
I somehow survived clamming together 900 pounds of force worth of magnets and getting those back apart, and came up with a plan to try to do it again. So I'm in like a little bit of a manic, like I'm a god kind of thing. But it's either that or just wallow in despair and anxiety and not get anything done. You got to try again, and eventually you'll just stop failing.
Or you'll
I'll
just not fail the one time it matters.
I'll say this, going to the gym all the time does not make you smarter though. Like you're expending all those critical thinking calories like running like a gerbil on a wheel.
The exercise improves circulation, though. And circulation supplies blood to the brain.
Brain likes fat more than it likes blood.
It likes
I
oxygen.
mean, it's a balance. You need. I think the key with exercise is just like getting away from the problem, so that your brain is allowed to like kind of distance itself from it and then maybe come back at it from a different angle. I think there definitely is something to the anecdata that people say that they found a clever solution to a problem after they walked away from it.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, it's like, and I think, when things start going wrong, you have to know like when to just call it, call it at the table, time of death, and walk away so that you can let like the creative juices just work in the background. And usually it only takes a day or two and you come up with something.
Yeah. No, that's what I'll do if I'm facing a difficult problem. I'll go like maybe take a
No,
shower.
when you're facing a difficult problem, you come to me about it.
That's survivorship bias, Jay Fresh.
It's true.
Yeah,
So-
I tend to take those kinds of breaks and stuff too.
That's why running away from problems is the best solution. You'd make a good dad.
Yeah, I don't know where my 9-year-old got it, but every time I'm like, I'm gonna go run to the store, he's just like, to get the milk, right, Dad? I'm like, where did you learn this?
Wait, is he like trying to get rid of you?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think he's just like,
Well, like, is he worried you're going to get milk, or is he telling
I
you
don't
to
know.
go get milk?
I don't know.
This is
I
right.
don't have the communication skills to actually have that conversation with him.
Fair enough.
Nah, I'm just kidding. He's fine. It's just a joke.
You could just sit him down and be like, Jay Fresh Jr., Why do you
I'm
keep
never
asking
gonna see
me?
you again. What? What did you say?
Nothing. Uh,
Have you ever been in a room where there's two magnets on either side of the room and you're worried if either one of them moves, they'll both smash you in half?
Oh, but I probably should because that literally almost happened to me like the other day.
I've always thought that'd be like one of the coolest ways to die.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't until yesterday that I ever had the thought of like, what if my fingers just were liquid?
you wouldn't notice for like about a solid half second, then you'd be like, "Oh
Maybe,
no,
yeah.
no more
Like, what would happen
fingers."
to the bone?
It would be
It
like
would just
it would
shatter,
become.
right? Like it would just like
Dust.
crumble.
Well, it would
It'd be like,
actually
yeah, it'd be
squish.
like flour. Yeah. Well, yeah, they would just squish because they are like kind of a spongy
But would
Yeah.
it like
texture.
would it mix with like the liquid of the flesh around it and
Like
become like a
you wouldn't
dough?
actually, you would just like your finger would just get flattened. It wouldn't like, it would probably
Finger dough?
die from all the damage. Like you'd have to cut it
Hmm.
off, but like it would still be there. It's not gonna
So it'd be like a
liquefy.
little wrinkly ball sack on the end of my finger.
Like a floppy, like squished sausage.
Yeah, or ball sack.
Like a condom. It'd be like a condom hanging off the end of your finger.
Hmm. Would it pop though? There'd have to be like a release of fluid.
Yeah, sure. It's split.
Yeah.
I ran over my toe with a forklift one time.
Why'd you do that? How did you do that? How were you? Were you in the fork?
No,
How
I was
was that?
outside the forklift.
So who was driving it?
No one.
So,
I was standing
How'd
next
you
to a
do that?
forklift and like something fell and it bumped the forklift and the forklift ran over my toe.
okay, so you didn't run over your toe with a forklift.
Kinda.
You had your toe run over by a forklift.
Sure.
Okay, what happened?
I was like 17. I was working in this warehouse and like a couch fell off one of these shelves onto the that I was trying to get this couch down and it fell off one of these shelves onto this forklift that I was standing next to and the forklift rolled back and went over my foot. Just like the tip of my big toe, but it squished it so hard that it popped open. And so the skin was split like all the way around the front of the toe. And the nail died at one point and fell off, but then it grew back.
How did a couch just fall?
Well, I was trying to get it off the shelf and then it fell.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay, so you were. I see. This is why you said you did it.
Yeah.
Why didn't you use the forklift to get the
Forklift
couch
didn't
off
work.
the shelf? Isn't that
Nope.
forklift
Broken
for?
forklift. Forklift just sat around like this is what the forklift was used for in that warehouse. It would be pushed up to shelves and then you would just knock shit off onto the forks, which were slightly lower than the shelf, and then you would then remove the item from the forklift forks.
What kind of like Al Qaeda cave are you working in?
It's like a shithole. I think I got paid like $6 an
Sounds
hour.
like it. I mean, just the workers' comp is probably like 6 times the cost of fixing the fucking forklift.
I did get workman's comp.
Did you get workers' comp?
Yep.
Yeah, you better. One time I was working for one of my buddies' dads, and I hurt myself, and it ended up getting infected, so I had to go get like antibiotics for it, and they were all like asking me like what happened, and I was just like stupid. I was like, oh, I did it while I was working, and they're like, oh, you I'll work. I was like, no, I use my. It's not like surgery. It's antibiotics. Just give the fucking pills. It was weird, but I've never felt more judged
I got injured
than
like
not
3
taking
times at that
workers'
job.
comp for my bucks.
How did you keep working there?
It was like someone in my family worked there, and like they gave me the job, and I was poor and 17, and I had to pay for college classes. So I worked there.
No.
I got a lot of overtime, which was only at $9 an hour.
Right.
All right, what are we doing here? We got any more questions? Everyone's just here silently listening to us talk about nothing.
Yeah, seriously, someone ask a question or I quit.
Yeah,
Yeah, my girlfriend didn't have rehearsal tonight, so I'm more than happy to go hang out with her.
obviously this going once.
Twice. See you guys tomorrow.
All right.
Maybe
Sweet.
you know what? Maybe
Yep.
we
Thanks
just
for having us.
built it so well that nobody has any questions.
That can't be true. These people are all cowards. They're afraid to speak their mind.
Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah. Wait,
Someone
raised their
grew a
hand?
pair of balls. Yeah.
I can only be called a coward so many times.
There we go.
Well, here you are.
I just have really kind of 2 terms of service questions.
Oh, you read the toss?
I
Weird.
Toss, I wanted to see how much was in there.
Sure.
There's a lot in there. We're still tweaking it. Yeah, what's up?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you guys are just kind of being chill about it for now, but it says, like you can't, you might get kicked off the service if you post premium stuff in the Discord.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering how much you guys care if people, like post premium.
We're actually currently actively fighting internally about like how to make that language because
Yeah,
all
we
really
definitely
care
we
about
definitely
is
want
that
people to
are-
like share
don't give our
data.
shit away. Yeah, don't give our shit away like mentioned for free.
Yeah, if you're like streaming
don't
our live
distribute it
data on
properly.
YouTube, we're gonna ban you, right? But like,
Yeah.
if you're
but
like,
you
if
have,
someone's
if
like,
you have-
oh man, you have the neutrals on this, and you share them, we're not gonna do shit.
Yeah, no. And usually, like most things shared in Discord, we don't care about. It's more like social media. If you post something without attribution, like that's if you're
It's
like
just a
trying to
dick
like
move.
steal our shit, like that's a problem. But if you're just trying to like show people like, hey, this is a cool thing I found on the service I like, and it's from Gammastrike, like we love that shit. Go for it. Just be like rational and do proper attribution, and yeah, we love it. Go for it. It just
All right.
tells us that you actually find value in it and want to share it with people, which is flattering.
Yeah. And then another second terms of service question. So it also says like that you're not allowed to disassemble or otherwise deconstruct the code and stuff like that. I was just wondering, like, if I was trying to write a custom Python tool or something later to help me parse the data, are you guys going to have it available in any format that can be used with like a programming language, like an API, or is it all just visual?
So right now it's all visual. The roadblock is licensing fees become dramatically higher if we start allowing for people to access the raw data.
Yeah, because then
Which we're not.
then
We're
we're
not
like-
fundamentally against it, but right now what we're not is a service that provides like the raw data.
yeah,
There
we're
are
not like
lots
a
of
we're not like a
services like
data
that.
vendor.
Yeah.
Like
So
we're
like yeah.
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 But eventually we will probably construct an API and have that. It's just a little bit further down the road for us right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we'll have to think about like we have thought a little bit about like if people want to do back testing, but we don't want to give them maybe they don't actually maybe the reason that they want the data is because they want to build a back testing script, but maybe what they really want is just a way to like build back testing strategies and test them on data. Then we don't need to share the data. We can just run the back test for them. We haven't honestly really gotten there yet, so it's a little bit up in the air. But right now, we just aren't sharing the raw data because we don't have the right to do that for the price that we're paying for data.
Well, I guess kind of follow-up question is if you can't share the raw data, but if you're doing some calculation of what you think gamma max or gamma neutral or something like that is that you're calculating instead of just getting from them, does that mean that you can't?
Well, it depends on how big we are and how much they think that we're a pinata that they can beat. Because
Yeah.
some of these places have
It definitely
their own
scales
terms of
as we
services,
add
yeah.
more users, but yeah, I mean the data
Yeah,
you're
the-
getting is interpreted. It is
Derived.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
derived,
but
and
even
so
some of the terms of services say like even data that you derive from our data.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
Well,
we
and
just
so
have
then-
to be
still
careful with that. We obviously want to expand all of those things and provide. We want to provide tool sets for everybody, and if that's a tool set that people want, we want to provide that. We just have to make sure we don't get sued into oblivion, because then we can't give anybody anything.
Yeah. Well, what I was gonna say there is, yeah, and their terms of services were actually written by lawyers and not like centaurs and weird guys.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Nobody reads the terms of service.
I read the terms of service. That's why I raised my
Well,
hand. But yeah,
have you ever seen the South Park episode, the I Centipede?
I did. That's a good episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say right now we have systems in place that if you were to use like a scraper, it would flag your account and it would probably get banned.
I mean, you probably wouldn't even be able to use a scraper the way it's built.
It's hard, but you could.
Anyone with enough inspiration can do a lot of weird
Yeah.
shit, but like we
Yeah,
will
that's
sniff
true.
you out very quickly, and we'll address it, right, more than anything else. But like
Yeah, I
for
mean, we're
a
not in the
single
business
stock
of
or something,
like catching people and like making it like a crime, right? We're much more likely to just engineer a solution to prevent the activity
your
we don't
account will probably
like.
be shut. Like if you were scraping and your account got shut down for scraping, you'd probably reach out and say my account doesn't work, and then we'd be like, well, you were flagged for scraping D's nuts, and then they'd be like, sorry, I won't scrape anymore, and then you don't, or you do, you get flagged again, and then that time we might not be as understanding. But I mean, like it is something we do need to make sure we keep an eye on. And I've been, I'm kind of the big stickler for making sure that we, you know, do things the right way, and we don't want to, yeah, like Jay Fresh said, expose ourselves to some weird shit that the lawyers wrote in or anything like that. So if we're gonna give you guys an API, it's gonna be buttoned up tight on our end. But it is something that we are interested in. But yeah, it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of money.
And the techno and the backbones that we're building are compatible with that type of thing in the future. So
Yeah, we're building with that stuff in mind.
So I guess so. Like scraping, your concern is like people looking at a lot of information quickly, or
no, literally the terms of service for the data providers that we have say like you don't have the rights to allow people to scrape the data and take a copy of the data, right? Because their business relies on people on there not being like a
There's
bunch of
various. I mean,
really
it's really
robust copies.
it's getting muddled. It's really easy. There's like there's display rights, and then there's the right to like share the data, and then there's the right to pipe the data to someone, and they all come with their own levels of like restrictions, and they're all paywalled, and the cost increases exponentially, the more and more of the like raw data feed you provide. And so we largely have like display rights and derived data rights, and we can do all of that. But if we hook you up to an API, that means like a raw feed of the data, and that is against their TOS. So,
Yeah, we have to.
and our
we're
data
just trying to
costs
make a
would go
good
up
faith
to
effort.
like from like where they are up to like hundreds of thousands a month, and you've also got to do like all kinds of shit with professional users and stuff. That's a huge pain in the ass. Like you got to like when you on TradingView when you get like ICE data. And they're like, "Oh, are you a professional user?" And you got to fill out the whole fucking questionnaire and everything. So we'd have to start doing that if we're gonna start giving people raw data feeds. And it's a really big pain in the ass, both on the like legal side of things and the implementation. And we're just not ready to do that yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we could make it even simpler. We don't make enough money right now to even buy the ability to sell you the raw data feeds.
All right. Well, yeah, that all sounds very reasonable on your end, and thanks for answering my questions.
Yeah, thanks for
Yeah,
asking them,
thanks for
man. I
asking.
appreciate it.
Yeah, that was
Definitely.
cool. Someone
yeah.
actually read the terms of services.
Yeah.
Well, now I
Right.
feel better that we spent so much time fighting about it, and we're still fighting about it. Clearly, they're still too restrictive if people are afraid to even share stuff in the Discord.
Yeah, I mean,
Ron.
it should just be
Ron!
like it should just be as long as
Stop fucking with
it's
the
like
toss.
attributed.
Yeah, it's been and in the pickle jar too. Like it's a lot more like there's a lot of flexibility in here. You know, just go for it. Like really, our only goal is to make a good faith effort towards keeping our data uh custodialized. I guess we're just
Nobody
we're
knows
making
what that
sure
means. You just
we're
made
keeping
that
an
up.
eye on it. I did, but we want to show a good faith effort towards our data providers, whatever that means. So.
It sounds like you guys need a wholesaler. We don't need a wholesaler yet. I don't want to deal with
Is
that
that
shit.
Poopy?
Yeah.
Are we gonna have to hire Poopy? Or his services? I don't even know what he does.
Green pies.
Oh yeah.
All right. I think that might be everybody. I don't think anybody else is gonna ask questions.
No one else?
That was
Thoughts?
cool though. I can't believe we got a question about the toss.
Yeah. No, that was the new one. That was new and exciting. It wasn't just
Y'all
market
need an
data and
accountant
signals and
yet?
stuff.
Oh.
We have one.
Yeah, we have Barl.
Well,
Is
we have
Barl
one.
also our accountant? We can't.
Ish.
That's a conflict of interest.
I don't know. We'll have to ask Barl. He's in charge.
Yeah, right. Barl found no wrongdoing, Gherk. What are you talking about?
All right.
Yeah, he investigated himself and found no wrongdoing. Pay no attention to the baby behind the cubicle.
I gave JFresh my initial feedback on the docs. I guarantee he didn't read it.
No, we talked about it, right? Did I miss some of it?
I don't know.
No, I've been talking to people.
Really?
There's been people who've been giving me feedback. Yeah.
I didn't know you were taking criticism at this time.
Damn. Yeah. I'm still
Yeah,
waiting.
Cobra.
What I'm really waiting for though is like somebody who's just like, yeah, this was all really great and I learned a lot, but I really wish you talked about this, like the thing that's missing. I want to make it longer, but I don't want to make it too long so that nobody reads it. So I need help. Like, where are the biggest pain points?
The missing charts.
I know the missing charts. Yes, I'm waiting to have a functional website first.
Our website's pretty functional at this point.
Yeah,
It's pretty functional. Yeah.
it does the things it's supposed to do currently.
All right, Danger. All right, okay. I'm getting it. I'm getting the feedback. You want the charts, so I will focus on that. I will get our front end guy to
Ooh, put leverage fell today.
suffer. Did it?
Yeah.
Nice.
A lot or a little?
I mean,
A little.
300
but,
billion? These are in trillions, right? Or am I an asshole?
What? No.
Leverage
that's a
is just a
ratio.
ratio.
That's just a
It's just a
ratio.
number. It's a unitless number.
Uh,
So yes, you're an asshole.
I thought you were measuring it notionally.
That doesn't even make sense. It's a ratio. It's a leverage. It's a number with no units.
It's dollars divided by dollars, so yeah, it's unitless.
Can
This
we
is
have?
the argument I had on Twitter with somebody who I won't name because I'm a gentleman who was comparing a dollar value to a dollar rate.
Was it Ken
And
Carson?
No, I don't talk to that weirdo.
I know who it was, but I will honor your gentleman's agreement.
Kim
to not
Carson
embarrass.
doesn't do calculations. He just talks.
Okay, the deltas and the delta. Okay, so you do delta value in
Yeah,
trillions. Okay.
delta and value are in money, and then you
Yeah.
divide those two, and you just get a
The
number.
ratio, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you finally understand the thing I built that we're giving to people.
Hey, I kind of understand it a little
I
bit.
quit. I'm leaving. I quit.
You can.
Wait, J
Call me
Fresh.
poopy again. I quit. It's over.
Wait, J Fresh. No, I need your help finding the missing $100 billion.
Can't.
Is JFresh working at Doge now?
Yes. Well, no more hands.
No.
Should we call it a call it a night?
I think it's time. Yep. Time of
All right.
10:43 Eastern.
Thanks for coming on, guys. Thanks for having me, Gherk.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, both of you, and all the people who actually asked us fucking questions. I love how everyone's
there's
pretending
way
they're
too-
so informed now.
There's way too many people in here versus how many questions we actually get asked. There's like 5 regulars who ask questions, and then like there's just a bunch of people who are in here every week who never say anything. That's
Mhm.
really
They just hope other people ask the questions for them.
yeah.
If you have a question, odds are another person has it too. Be the brave one, right? That's how it works.
If you are so concerned about all of the reasons why you think you shouldn't ask a question, you have an anxiety problem that you should get fixed.
Yes. It's probably stage fright, though. I mean, I mean,
The
talking in front of a bunch
the
of people is
irony of
scary.
JFresh requesting a safe space from Poopy Hands while also calling everybody out on their anxiety is not lost on me.
I stayed. I stayed and I faced my aggressor.
You did.
Okay. All right.
All right, I'm done with
It's
this. Have a good night, everybody.
right.
We'll see you next
Good
week.
night.
Later, guys.
Later.